Hey Thane, it's Tuesday, so here's our weekly show. We're about to
Hey,
get started
Jen.
here. So I think we're going to talk today about what's been happening in real estate news and sort of more locally here, Canadian, maybe a little bit about what's happening across our borders here in North America and into the States. And we were just, before we started recording, we were talking briefly about the new President of the United States, Donald Trump, and you were mentioning that you've been hearing some stuff about what's possibly how it's gonna affect the tariffs that he's been talking about, and how that's gonna affect our Canadian housing market. There's
Yeah,
speculation
yeah. Like
around
I've been
that.
hearing, honestly, since the election, I've been hearing so many different sources speculating different things as to how that's going to affect us.
Hmm.
I've heard everything from the interest rate drops that we were supposed to be having, quote unquote, supposed to be having in December and into spring 2025, that people are saying that maybe those will not happen now. Interest rates
Hmm.
stay the same. I don't know. Also, there was just a new tariff that was implemented in the States for all, oh gosh, how did it work again? On all, how can we say this? Exported good? No. Shoot. Okay, well, Agnes, edit this part out, obviously. Um, I was just watching, my brain's not working today.
I think it's good for people to see us live, like doing this.
Yeah,
You know what? Nobody's watching us when we're being like super serious and trying to be professional,
you know
honestly.
what? Totally. Yeah, okay, well, maybe we don't need to edit this out then.
Well,
Um,
we need to edit this part out, definitely.
yeah, oh, okay.
Okay, starting here. Okay. So
Starting here.
what are you looking for?
I'm just searching the tariff news.
Okay, well, while you're looking for that, I saw it today when I was at the gym. I saw about uh on CP24 about Remax making predictions, right? And so I just looked it up right now, and it's breaking news,
Yep.
right? Toronto home prices will be flat in 2025, predicts Remax, contrary to other predictions of a hot spring market. Because, I think everybody was thinking that the spring market for 2025 was going to be really hot and that interest rates were going to
Absolutely.
continue to go down, right?
Mhm.
So what this article is saying by Clary Feinstein, business reporter, says here Toronto home prices are expected to remain flat in 2025 as the city deals with surplus inventory. And I know in our market here, just outside of Toronto in Durham region, we do have a surplus of inventory, right?
Oh
And,
yeah, absolutely.
you
It's
know,
Canada wide for sure.
yeah, and it says here, and reduced demand from first time buyers. And you know what? I've always said this, first time buyers fuel the market.
I
you
agree.
know
Yeah.
and it says and investors, and for sure I was just saying this to a seller the other day, like we're not seeing as many investors as we once did, like
Oh,
or,
definitely
or
not.
flippers, or and that kind of stuff, right? So yeah, I mean, I think it's a great time for buyers to buy.
Yes.
And I mean, the
Yeah.
buyer that I've been working with that I just picked up on the weekend, him and I said, you're in an opportune time to get into the market,
Yeah.
right? Like, and so I showed him the stats on condos because I have a condo that he was interested in, and I showed it to him.
Mhm.
And then he was saying he had heard that the condo market was like spiraling down and all this kind of stuff. And so I showed him real-time stats, right? I said
Yeah.
the market is down about 4%. Yes,
Yeah.
there's a surplus of inventory, but year over year prices are only down 4%, which is not a lot in the big picture, right?
Totally. Totally. Well, also not only that, but it's the time of year, right? Like, we're coming into Christmas season now. So I do think that historically, typically the best time to buy is in the summertime or right around Christmas time, because that's when everybody kind of chills out. There's no competition. Um,
100%. I
so
agree. I always tell people this is the best time to buy.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
October,
Interesting.
November, December to me is like
Yeah.
prime time to buy. I buy my own properties that time of year.
That's me too. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, last year we bought our house in November and we moved December 17th. Right.
There you go.
So yeah, so in the Financial Post here, a headline is Trump's 25% tariff would mean recession for Canadian economy next year, economists warn. And this is by Jordan Gowling, published November 26th, 20. Yeah, so you could say, yeah, it's pretty
Today.
sweet.
I
Huh?
saw that actually. I did see something about that on CP24, so I wanted to read further on that
Yep.
and gain a little more insight into that. So if anybody has any comments below, I'd love to hear it because this is sort of new territory, and
Well,
yeah,
it's such a flip. It's such a 180 from what we have all been expecting, even, 4 weeks ago, 3, 4 weeks ago, everybody was like, "Oh yeah, just hang on until spring 2025. It's, it'll go up and I think it's going to be busy, et cetera, et cetera." And now it's like this negative news, like, what? That could possibly not be the case. So
mhm,
it's very different than what people have been predicting.
yeah.
Oh, that's
So interesting. Circling back to this article, it
yep.
says here, it says it contradicts. Okay, another. It says it contradicts Royal LePage's forecast, which sees a booming Toronto market as interest rates fall. They're talking about this Remax Canada 2025 housing market outlook, right? Predicts that Toronto prices will remain essentially flat. So, to me, what that sounds like is a balanced market, right?
Yeah.
When prices don't change, they don't go up, they don't go down, it's a balanced market, right?
Yeah.
And it says it means the market will see an increase in activity, but the excess supply won't be swallowed up by excess demand. So, yeah, it's going to be pricing,
Hmm.
it's going to be a price war and a beauty contest. So,
Yeah.
the best house at the best
Yep.
price, right?
The cleanest house for the sharpest price, the one that's easy to access, it's easy to show, the one that
Yeah,
looks
all of
great.
that.
It's like we're going back to having to hit all five senses, right? Look,
Mhm.
smell, feel,
Yep. Yep.
sound, have music playing, like all of the bells and whistles, we're going to have to start bringing those all back out again, right?
Yeah. And circling back to what we were talking about the first time, it says, but the first time buyer cohort isn't there to push the market forward. Typically, first time buyers make up 30 to 40% of buyers in Toronto, but now it's sitting at 10% and unlikely soon to change. This is from Cameron Forbes, Remax Realtron Realty Broker. And you know what? That's great insight. Um, I've always thought for a long time that we haven't seen as many first time buyers. Like I have not been working with as many first time buyers. I mean, actually this last year I have, right? With prices
Okay.
actually, coming down year over
Yep.
year. Um, but it says first time home buyers are the missing ingredient, which is what I said earlier, right? And I hadn't read this article. So,
Yep. Hang
I've been
on.
preaching that to the choir for a while, right? And it says there's affordability challenges of the down payment and mortgage costs, which need to be put through the stress test, which is sitting at around 6%. My opinion on that too is I think whoever makes these decisions needs to start looking at, either the down payment has to be lessened, like there has to be something that has to change. And
Something's got to give.
I don't have the answer for that, but like
Yeah.
there's commercials out there now where they've got millennials sitting in front of a camera saying, "Well, we'll never be able to buy. My dream of buying is gone," and all this kind of stuff. And like these, I forget the name of it, but it's some like financial institution or investing type thing, and they're sitting there and they're like, "Wow, put your money here," right?
Oh, interesting.
So it
Wow.
was like I was like, "Oh, yeah, if I was like a younger person that was thinking I wasn't gonna," and I sat with somebody last night, my neighbor, and he's early 30s and like he's like, "I'll never be able to buy a house." And I'm like,
That's
"Okay."
that negative talk, it's just like they're starting to believe it, right? That's
But it goes
wow.
back to down payment and
Yeah,
mortgage costs, right? And
yeah,
then you look at rent and it's a whole gamut. And I don't have the answer. Maybe like we need to create this big panel that needs to really address this, but I,
absolutely.
I think it needs to be addressed.
Yeah, if anybody's in, the economy world or in the financial sector and want to, do an interview with us, and, we'd love to have you on
Yes.
and do a live discussion, that would be amazing.
Yeah, give us some insight into this from somebody that has that background for sure.
Definitely, definitely. Ah, awesome.
Yeah, so if anybody has any comments or anything like that down below, we're open to it. Um yeah, so I don't know, is there anything else that you want to talk about today?
No, I don't think so. I think we've brought up some good talking points, and yeah, let's see what everybody has to say, and we'll take that into consideration for next week's topic.
Yeah, for sure. All right.
Awesome, guys.
Sometimes I think we need to have longer